Hi, I'm Chris Young. Behind the camera we have Dave Lineff. And today we're going to look at some of the capabilities of our XR75 X-Ray platform. On this particular example, we're going to use this type of a product, which is a filled pastry. So I'm not very original in naming. You can see it's a pastry looking at the filling level. In theory, this could be, say, a donut that's looking at filling level, or even like a meat pie, so a pastry with some meat filling inside. And really, what you're trying to ensure is that whatever it is, the filling or meat product is actually injected in and covers a significant area within that pastry or whatever it may be, dough, shell. So in this particular example, what you see is we have 3 of the cakes, and you can see the filling level because it's very visible, it's darker. And we're going to be doing 3 different things, well, 4 different things actually. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to check for contaminants, and that we do on pretty much every single application. The next one is we're actually going to be looking for a count. So as you look down here, you can see there's actually a count identified on the screen. So if for whatever reason during the bagging process only 2 cakes or 4 cakes made it into the bag, we would reject because we have it set up to say that there are 3 cakes. Next one, we're going to check the shape. And what that means is we're going to check for each one of these, what I'm calling a blob, or the filling within the pastry, we're going to check its area. So if you can imagine, once we see this filling blob, we're going to look at the area. That's going to be that shape one. The next one is mass. And that one is going to look at not the area, but the volume. Okay? And they all work independently. So then if I run any of the products through any one of these criteria, we will reject the product, and I can set this up separately as well. So a typical customer might set this up to have a contaminant go to one side, maybe the miscount would go to another reject, and then these 2, where it's the wrong filling area or volume, might go to a 3rd reject. So on a count, you would just simply rework this one. You would probably destroy, and obviously contaminant, you'd want to look to see what's going on. So to get a better feel for how this works in the system, right here we have the main display. If we go to the second display, that's going to be details on the contaminants. If there were any contaminants in here, all of these different inspection tools would look to find any type and size of contaminant, including metal, wire, rocks, bones, ceramic, so forth. The next one, number 3, the shape, that's the area one. And if we look down here, I've run it through a couple times. This is actually looking at the area of each one of these filling blobs, and each one of these lines denotes the 3 different blobs that are in the image. And you'll notice that I have set points that I can configure for this tool separately from the other tools. You can also see that I have an average of about 99%, and then that's the standard deviation for these lines compared to themselves. How much are they varying? Since I'm only running the same bag over and over, they're all very, very tight. In production, you'd expect these numbers to go up quite a bit from run to run and bag to bag. And then the last one, this is the virtual weight. And again, this is the virtual weight of each one of those individual cakes, the filling levels. And as well, you can see it's pretty much right on target. And here I have different values again because this is a completely different tool. Now to dig down a little bit further, we'll go into the software just a little bit here and show you how this actually works a little bit. So if I go into the inspection capabilities of the machine, you can see we have different categories. Contaminant detection is obviously on and running. Missing, right here, that's where we're doing the count. So right now I put the count at 2, and the reason was to create a reject image, which we're about to see when I run it through. But it tells you down at the bottom of the screen how many you have. And you can see that I set the density level, so I can set this density level to really only look for the filling. Okay. So the next one is we're going to go into the shape, and that one is looking for missing. Works the same exact way. You can see it too is finding the filling level. And on that one, again, this one is looking at the area of each one of these blobs. Okay, with its data down here. And then the last one is the virtual weight. And again, this is looking at the individual pieces in the bag. If I hit that button again, we'll see it's just going to look at the filling levels. And it too, you have a min and a max, but right here you can see its values. So very easy to set up. Once you're done, you can just go back home, start running your product, and we'll run through. Again, I have it set up for a count of 2. All right, so now when I run the product through, we're gonna see the system's gonna reject, because although it does have 3 in here, I told it it only has 2, so that when I run a good product through, it rejects. Okay, so what happened, you can see it's highlighted. It says there's a missing, right? And that again is the count. And again, it tracks every single one of these separately. So now if I want to see what that looks like in the system, I can go into the imaging here, and I can look and I can see one, it has that icon there, that little purple icon. That's the missing icon. And here, that right there, that's the count. It's identifying the count. It's 2, and it saw something that wasn't 3. And here you'll notice this one, we had a contaminant in it. So there's a little spiky ball. And they'll all have different icons, and they'll all be tracked separately. So again, it doesn't really matter what this is. It could be a meat-filled pastry. It could be a nice cake like this one. The ability to go in and count the cakes or count the filling levels, check the area, and check the volume can all be done, as well as contaminant detection at the same time. Thank you.